The dead zone, located in the Gulf of Mexico, is a human disturbance that takes place during the spring and is very harmful to the ecosystem surrounding that area.
In Mexico, as farmers tend to their crops in the spring by using their fertilizer, there is a huge runoff of fertilization in the Gulf of Mexico that creates a dead zone. The main cause for this are the farmers and the fertilizer that they use. Water is also pumped through pipes, which is then released into the Gulf.
So, the running off of water began around the 1980s and has been an increasing issue because the dead zone takes up a space of about 8,484 square miles, which has been at its highest since 1980s, according to 2002.
The reason that this is harmful to the environment is because of hypoxia, which is when there is a reduced amount of oxygen in the water levels. The hypoxic zones have too low a concentration to support marine life in the area, so those that are immobile die, and mobile marine creatures such as fish avoid the zone by swimming away. This is because of how low the oxygen concentration is that life suffocates within it, which is why the disappearance of marine life makes it declared a dead zone.
Nutrients that flow from the Mississippi River to the dead zone include a large amount of nitrogen and phosphorus, which are key elements to the growth of phytoplankton. Then, this leads to an increased population of zooplankton to feed on the phytoplankton. Once that happens, the runoff reaches the Gulf of Mexico, where there's a large accumulation of dead plankton on the seabed that rapidly decrease the amount of oxygen in the area. Too rapid that cannot be replaced fast enough, causing for the spread of hypoxia to create the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. Another effect it has on the ecosystem abiotically is the water becomes infatuated with nitrogen, phosphorus, and other agricultural runoff. Another abiotic effect is the water does not look any different from the surrounding waters, so it is hard to figure out these zones exist, and there's not a sustainable amount of oxygen in the area to keep biotic factors alive. A biotic factor effect is all living organisms that cannot move, like the primary producers, or move not fast enough, like plankton, fish, and etc., die because of the lack of oxygen. Brown shrimp that live in these zones are killed despite their major role in industry today, which is negatively impacting the shrimp, and the people lose money because they cannot get these shrimp.
In the short term, there is a time period that is usually in the spring where all the agricultural products are used to start farms, where hypoxic zones exist, where life is not sustainable that can last anywhere from 1 to even 4 months. This means that there will be no marine life in these very large hypoxic zones and affects the ecosystem negatively because of all the organisms who are immobile or too slow cannot escape these zones.
In the long term, species could begin to go extinct that are very important to the ecosystem that keep its marine life sustaining. The keystone species of plankton or shrimp could go extinct because of expanding of the dead zone that is occurring, as well as the fact that these populations usually cannot escape the dead zone, so they could become extinct, resulting in other marine life not being able to live because they do not have organisms to feed off in this ecosystem.
The EPA Science Advisory Board is requesting to make a change by decreasing the nitrogen and phosphorus levels by 45% through extraction of these nutrients. The NOAA, on the other hand, is helping to identify and monitor the causes of hypoxia and determine the specific management measures required to restore ecosystem health, as well as spending significant amounts of money to research ways to restore the ecosystem after monitoring the hypoxia.
Some future remedies to help the prevention of the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico is for us as individuals and families to voluntarily stop fertilizer and waste runoff into lakes, rivers, and streams, which we cause by dumping out daily products every day into rivers, streams, and lakes, as said earlier. As a society and a country, we can enact laws to prevent fertilizer and waste runoff from entering the Mississippi River. Also, as a country or society, we could build water treatment plants to prevent human and animal waste from entering our waters. That would make them much less prone to hypoxia, just as it would if we prevent fertilizer and waste runoff from entering the Mississippi River, because 70% of the Mississippi River is made up of farms. The last thing we could do as a society or country is enact laws to reduce the use of nitrogen or increase the price of fertilization. This is proven to work with the Black Sea, whereas the largest dead zone but disappeared by 2001 because of the collapse of the market for agricultural products such as fertilizers, so that it was not possible to buy them, which reversed the dead zone, which is no longer existing because these agricultural products disappeared and fishing actually became a popular sport within the Black Sea. Thank you for listening to our presentation.